I would always err on the side of understanding the financial issues, even if they're just estimates early on.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, I move to approve Resolution 2014-47.
Second.
Submitted by Trustee Ranke and seconded by Trustee CAMERER. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes.
Camerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranke?
Yes.
Chipman?
Yes. The motion carries.
We have item number 3, the two-factor authentication system purchase. And I'll turn this over to Valerie.
This is an item that we discussed and the board approved in the operating budget that we just completed. And I'm going to ask our IT director, Chris Hostetler, to explain it to you, because I could explain it in English, but it might not be accurate.
Well, thank you, Valerie. The two-factor authentication is a requirement by federal regulations. Federal regulations now require that all police cars have two-factor authentication if they have access to criminal justice information, which all of our police cars do. And by two-factor authentication, they basically define that as something you know, something you are, something you have. In our case, it'll be something you know, which will be a PIN, and something you have, which is a card similar to this, which will authenticate them to the computer before they can have access to any other systems. The solution we've chosen is a turnkey solution by NetMotion and 2FA. NetMotion provides the secure link between the network, those remote computers, and our network, and 2FA provides the two-factor authentication. This has been a solution that's been put in place in towns from Downers Grove to Minneapolis. It's also covered by the Illinois state contract. So we are looking to purchase the system for a number not to exceed $21,400.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, then I move to approve the purchase of a two-factor authentication solution from Insight in an amount not to exceed $21,400.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Ranke, seconded by Trustee Carbonaro. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes. Yes.
Camerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranke?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes. That motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all for Finance and Gold this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Ranke. Next on the agenda is our License and Ordinance Committee. Chairman Carbonaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to report other than what was on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Chairman Carbonaro. Next item on the agenda is under Police and Health Committee. Chairman Shipman.
Mayor, there is nothing on the board agenda. We do, however, have a committee item after our village board meeting.
Thank you, Chairman Shipman. Next item on the agenda is under Public Works Committee. Chairman Ahrens.
Our one item was covered under the consent agenda. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman Ahrens. That completes our standing committee reports. We have a couple of items that we have to deal with under new business, one being Class D 4th of July liquor license, which was mentioned earlier, is requiring a vote.
A Class D is made by the village president, but requires the approval of the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
Slide on my laptop here, and I couldn't get into the internet. I have a mental block and can't recall.
So just to repeat, the Bartlett 4th of July Committee submitted an application for Class D liquor license for the 2014 4th of July Festival, July 3rd through July 6th, 2014 at Appalachian Community Park. Everything is intact. I moved.
It's issued by the village president with the approval of the Board of Trustees. The mayor said he would issue it. It requires a motion to approve of that. issuance of that license.
Motion to
Make a motion to approve the liquor license for the 4th of July committee.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Martin, seconded by Trustee Carbonaro to approve the Class D liquor license application of the Bartlett 4th of July Committee for 2014 Festival. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Abstain.
Camerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes.
That motion carries. Luckily, or we'd be in a lot of trouble if they didn't have a liquor license for the 4th of July. Final item under new business is the O'Hare Pub and Restaurant Class A liquor license request. I believe we need a motion to approve that
That
amendment.
one's just yours.
Okay, I just need to address the fact that there's no issues. I intend to issue the change in their license. The only change that they were requesting is just a change in the hours. So they actually dropped their F, and that was what the amendment was on the consent agenda, and they changed their license to an A. They created a new A license. So if there's no issues, I intend to issue that license. And I will open it up to anybody else's new business.
I had several residents complain to me about freight trains parking off of 59 and Struckman for maybe 2.5 hours on a Friday or Saturday night. This happened back in April. Staff took that concern to CN, and CN, basically blew us off and said we're operating within the constraints of the law. It happens. Well, then I got another slew of phone calls. It's happening again. So I wonder if we could maybe put a little bit more gusto into our complaints with CN.
You know what we can do? We can request a meeting. They've had this problem for a long time, and they have taken some steps in the past to solve it where it ran 24 hours a day, and obviously they have not fixed it. We'll get the regional manager in here and sit down and go through it in person.
Well, what I found particularly frustrating was CN's response to our concern. And what gets me is the residents, they don't have a problem with the trains coming through. They have a problem with the trains parking there.
Right, in their
because
backyards.
it's in between two subdivisions. So I appreciate that.
We'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had a complaint in Westridge as well with the train issues. So I think that's probably geared around the same issue. Anything else?
Yes. A little over 2 years ago, a couple of us voted for the utility tax, and I know some of the trustees ran on repealing it, and it's been a year. You have a supporter if we can find a way to get rid of it, and I would like to look into possibly looking at do we still need it, or is there a way we can amend it? Maybe we don't charge our residents, we charge the businesses, or we can slowly, gradually get rid of it. I'd like it to, put it on the table, start looking at possibly getting rid of it. So I think that's it would help, especially when U46 is raising taxes in one county and not in the other, and it's another burden on our citizens once again. And if there's a way to get rid of this, I think we should look into it. I'm not saying. You have support if there's a way we can, find creative financing or something. And maybe it's not all at once. Maybe it's a baby step. But
Okay. Anything else under new business?
I was just wondering if maybe either Paul or Scott have some sense of how the new farmers market is doing. As I passed by there today, I thought about that. And if we're,
I was by there.
I know it's a little early, but
Saturday it looked pretty busy.
It is a little early, Trustee Shimon, but they were actually very pleased their first day, and that was during a soft opening with minimal press and minimal advertising. And they continue to be happy, and they continue to expand their ancillary vendors and their civic groups and things like that. So they're off to a pretty good start.
good. Yeah, it looked like it when I've passed by, but haven't had the opportunity to stop in yet. So
I walked over and talked to the owners since it was right there, and they said that they're doing great. They're really happy, and
we ordered those stamp reports on was, we ordered the sandwich board signs. It was on the EDC list of things to accomplish, and we've been putting some information and loaning those over there, so we've been able to help them with some advertising to get that going as well.
Very good. Like to see it.
Can you tell us when the Twin Farms corn comes in? I know it's going to be a couple, like halfway through. It doesn't come till then.
Well, unfortunately, that's actually a different farm entirely than the current one that we have, but the current one did say they will be bringing in Illinois corn as soon as possible, but it may be delayed due to the rough winter that we had.
And the knife sharpener, Scott?
Will not be there, but I have encouraged the new business to actively look for one. I can certainly help them in that area.
Thanks, Scott. Any other new business at this point? Hearing none, we'll move on to next item on the agenda is question and answers. Does anybody have any questions for staff at this point? Hearing none, we'll move on, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn, and we will move directly into the Village of Bartlett Committee agenda after this meeting.
So moved.
It is moved by Trustee Martin, seconded by Trustee Ahrens. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes.
CAMERER?
Yes?
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes.
We're adjourned.